All right, honey, I'll see you. Have fun hang gliding. Kisses. Oh, I love you more. Okay, the coast is clear. I got some things to share with you. Well, hello there. Hey, it's Gayle from BERNINA of Naperville, and there is a mountain of things to tell you. I mean, I have to say that a lot has gone on between my installment 3 of the wedding dress video and that journey. I can imagine probably a lot has gone on for you guys as well. I mean, it's been a while, and I've been remiss, kind of keeping you up to date, but there's just, we had planned on touring our wedding venue. By the way, it's December 31st, 2022. That's coming up this New Year's Eve. Oh my God, we're so excited to do a New Year's Eve wedding and get everything going. And I'll talk to you about that in just a minute. But, I don't have my little snoring partner here with me, Camilla. She passed away November 7th, and I was just rewatching the previous part 3 video, and I didn't realize how loud she snored. So now all we have are the dulcet tones of the dishwasher to keep us company this time. But I'm excited to share with you my progress on the wedding dress. So basically I made that first muslin, and I was pretty happy with it when I looked at it on camera, and I showed you, I even modeled it for you guys. But when I really started digging in and scrutinizing it, wasn't really happy with a lot of the gathering that was happening. Like the ruching around here was just a little too much, was sticking out too much. Then it was a little tight in the hips, so then I decided to kind of really get it and have another go at it. So I made another muslin, and it actually started out with me putting it on just straight up like the one you saw with a corset. I bought this corset because I talked about getting undergarments, and I tried it on, and dear God, 2 things happened. The zipper busted, and I realized that I looked like a very tall mushroom because the corset had squeezed all of the fat up, and I looked like a little mushroom, and I just couldn't live like that. And that made me go into a fit of some kind. I had to be tall. Amy, God love her, was like, no, Gayle, it's just skin. It's fine. We can tape it down. But so I did some redesigning. So then I had to make another muslin, and I ripped it out. And then I even recorded a little bit of something for you while I ripped it out, but I'm just not happy. I'm not happy with my storytelling there because it's not as exciting as maybe you want to hear. So, but I ripped that one out, and then I quickly put another one together where I lowered the back because I took my pattern and I looked at it, and this pattern, the model on the pattern is wearing a dress that is not straight up what is drafted on that pattern. So I kind of looked at her, I looked at me, I looked at the line drawing, and I decided that I was going to lower the back piece by about 3 inches, because then it wouldn't be squeezing all my underarm skin to between my back or whatever it was doing. So I made that adjustment, and then I decided that it really was important for me to do a full corset built into the dress, not one that just sat up on my hips, which I call those my pin cushions. So it was just not sitting right. So I elongated it so I get a smoother silhouette. And then I made a second one, and I was pretty happy with it, but it was loose in some spots. So then I ripped it and tried to sew it and kept ripping, and now my fabric is like teeter-tottered. And so I recut out of new muslin. Then I reassembled it, and I wasn't happy with it again because now I used a more drapier muslin on this one. I actually used Benartek's 108-inch wide white fabric that had a little bit more flow. It was meant to be a quilt backing, but it had a little bit more flow than the initial muslin that I used. So then it accentuated things that should not be accentuated. And then I was alone. I was doing this by myself, and I had nobody, no shoulder to cry on. I thought I was gonna have to make a crying video for you, and then I just was like, okay, you know why this is accentuating things that don't need to be accentuated because there was really nothing there that was being accentuated. It was just making it look like there was something there. So I took out some pleats, I raised the pleats, I did some things, and now you can see the muslin there. I'm not going to try it on for you because it's relatively see-through, but now I'm pretty happy with it. Now that I've got the dress ready to go, I'm going to work on what needs to happen to make that tulip piece. And I've decided that I think I need to make it a little bit wider. So that means that I might have to do some refolding, and then I have to make that, and then I can cut from the fabric because one side's going to be red, then white, then red, then white. And you know, once again, I don't want to look like a can or a bottle of red stripe beer. That is not the goal for this. The goal is to look gorgeous and beautiful and Angelina Jolie-like, which I probably will not be able to attain, but you know, everybody's got to have goals. So now the work that's going to be done is going to be a lot behind the scenes. I've also started, you know, I've decided I do not want to be a back fat factory. So I'm working out. Gonna do a little bit of it after this conversation that we're having, and I started eating a little bit better, and I'm trying this app that tells me when to drink water, tells me, you know, how much coffee I can really have every day, and I'm laying off the sauce. And by the sauce, I don't mean tomato sauce, I mean alcohol. So no alcohol for me for at least 30 days. I'm serious. If I'm telling it on YouTube, I am serious. So I am going to try to make a better version of me, not a totally transformed version, because I like to eat and I like to drink, okay? So, but it's been a little bit weird, and with COVID and having a store, so we started the store in 2019, and then, you know, at that time I'd already, my exercise routine had waned. I wasn't doing personal training anymore, and my big hobby before I started the store, you will never guess what it was. Go ahead, try to guess what I did for fun after work when I was at Bernina. I did circus trapeze. It's true, I even have my own belt with my name embroidered on it. I have been in circus shows. I have swung from the trapeze with almost great ease. I struggled to get my leg over a bar to do a back end gazelle. I have been caught. I've never been able to go, get caught, then swing back to a bar and back to the platform. That is the stuff only the finest trapeze artists can do. I don't fly out of lines. Please, somebody hold me on there. I don't want to fall out. I still have a little bit of fear of heights. The fear of heights comes more climbing that ladder than anything else. But I don't have a trapeze body anymore. I have kind of like some in-between body. I still have muscle tone. I can find like a muscle if I push hard enough through my fluff that I've acquired since 2019. But you know, I need to get on the exercise routine. I need to do some more strength training and all of these things. So I'll probably be telling you about that a little bit, but be kind, you know, when you're like watching these videos and you're like, you know, Gayle, I think you're going the wrong direction, girl. Please, I don't need to hear it because there is no worse critic than me. But okay, so now you know what I'm gonna be up to. I'm gonna be working on the wah thing on the dress. I am gonna be working on a wah thing for me and my little muscles here. I think I still have a muscle. Do I still have a muscle? I sort of do. Okay, there's still one in there. So, but I'm gonna do it. I'm going to do it. All right. And then not only that, so I got to plan me, got to plan the dress, got to plan the wedding. So we hired a wedding planner. We toured the venue, and let's have a look. So this was Valentine's Day in Sarasota, Florida, and so we are getting married. It's a destination location, and well, you know what? Let's have a look at it. Okay, so it's just about sunset, and we're here checking out a hotel on Lido Key in Florida, and we're also kind of here to really take the Christmas vacation that we wanted to take, but we didn't really get to because of COVID. So this is just a good opportunity to sample some of the potential caterers, check out some of our wedding venues for our, fingers crossed everybody, a New Year's Eve wedding in 2022. So I'm here at the Powell Crosley Estate. This is in Sarasota. It's really close to everything. It's totally convenient for our guests that come to the wedding. And we're touring it today for the first time. I am really impressed with it. This entrance is really cool, and there are just lots of really cool details. This mansion was built in 1929, and it overlooks the bay. And you can kind of see the more modern Sarasota on the other side, the water, and it's a beautiful day here. I mean, we really got lucky for our tour. So we're gonna go on inside and see what this place looks like. Chris and I and his dad, we're touring the venue that we're gonna have for the wedding, and it is amazing. The floors, even the bathrooms. This is a really old estate here, and we're just so lucky that we were able to snag this location for New Year's Eve. And this part of the building we really like for possibly when the bride, me, makes her entrance. I mean, I can try to climb these stairs in those shoes. You know those shoes, those Louboutin shoes that I have. You know what? I think I could do it. I think I could make it down this windy, bricked area here rather than going through those doors down there. But we'll have to see how dexterous I am. So this guy is connected to a weather vane that actually shows the direction that the wind is blowing. I think that's pretty cool if I can hold the camera straight. This is the ship room. I think it was used as an office. The view here is pretty amazing. I love all the palm trees. Okay, so there's a lot of places along these grounds that would be great for a ceremony, and the reception will also be here as well. I'm so overwhelmed. You know what? I just really don't care. It's so beautiful. It doesn't matter to me. So I'm going to put it in the care of the wedding planners to just kind of tell me where to stand, where to walk, and all of those things. I'm super excited because, you know, now that we're touring the facility, we're able to, you know, kind of start thinking about food, start thinking about decorations, and the cake, which I kind of decided on. Okay, yeah, so Chris and his dad and I toured that place, and it was really, we were really inspired. You know, it's next door, just next door to the Ringling Museum. And don't you think it's appropriate that two people that once did flying trapeze will get married on New Year's Eve next to the Circus Museum and have a vintage circus theme for our wedding? So that's what we've chosen. Our colors are like deep antique white and like a deep passionate red, and kind of like my dress, right? And we are really excited to start hiring some circus performers, maybe a fortune teller, having like tabletop games, and we are asking our guests to dress in formal 1920s or 30s New Year's Eve attire. So that is going to be a whole lot of fun. And you know, we have all of the other things too. There's going to be a duo that will perform while the guests arrive. There will be libations. There's going to be food, but there needs to be entertainment to have everybody there celebrating not only our nuptials, but the new year, the coming 2023. So with that in mind, yes, New Year's Eve, it's a countdown. And, you know, I talked on the last video about a cake. So I thought that a really fun thing might be if we had kind of a fake cake and then dessert was plated, because I'm telling you right now, there is nothing I hate more than at a wedding when the groom and the bride are like shoving cake in each other's faces. I mean, I spend a lot of time on my makeup and I do not want cake on my face. So, plated dessert and a fake cake. But the fake cake is gonna be like a cool cake with a mirror ball topper. And the mirror ball topper starts out up here and then slowly works its way down during the course of the evening. And then when it gets to midnight on 2023, bam, the mirror ball falls into the cake, and Cracker Jacks and candy and fake lips and all kinds of stuff falls out. What do you think? Yeah, I know. You want to be invited? Yeah, I know. We have a very small guest list. We'll see what happens. I'm actually very nervous that nobody's going to want to come to this, that they're going to be afraid to travel or whatever. So that's what we're trying to plan. And now, you know, I'm coming up with music and things like that. But so we toured the facility, like I said, with my future father-in-law, and he is the most social guy. I just love him. I cannot wait for Mr. Donahue to be my father-in-law. And I don't even want to call him Mr. Donahue or Chris's mom, Mrs. Mom. No. They're mom and dad to me, because they are just the most awesome people. And when we leave from visiting them, I actually get really sad because I don't want to leave. So I'm very fortunate to have in-laws that I love so very much. But Dad is spending his time, you know, while Chris and I are looking at this room and that room, talking to like one of the guys that works at the estate. And he's like, oh yeah, you know, my son is getting married here, and you know, they're just in the beginnings of trying to plan their wedding and all of this. And so apparently he learns from this groundskeeper that there was a wedding recently at this estate. And okay, get a hold of yourself, because I so want this, but don't want to spend the money for it, but I want it. The bride rode in on an elephant. I love elephants. Next to bulldogs, I like elephants. So anyway, so the bride rode in on an elephant and the groom rode in on a camel. I'm not sure if Chris needs to ride in on a camel, but an elephant would be super awesome. So anyway, so that was kind of like the talk at lunch after we toured the venue, and while we were talking, you know, in the car and everything. So do you want to talk about the elephant that I'm going to ride in on for the wedding? Or do you want to talk about the elephant in the room I left you with on our last video, where the phone kept ringing and ringing and ringing? Well, okay, I see it has been decided. Well, I just want to say that it's true. That was my husband calling, and I was married. We were living together still. It was not happy. It was very strained. I'm not going to go into details. I can imagine that there are many of you out there that have known people that have been through horrible divorces, or people that are needing to go through a divorce, or maybe you yourself have been divorced, and you know that it's really not something that you want to share with the entire world unless you're, you know, a Kardashian or, you know, Elizabeth Taylor or something like that. But I'm neither one of those, and I just have to tell you, my advice to you is, if you have the hairs on the back of your neck standing up. And even if you are like literally in your wedding dress, veiled down, walking down the aisle, getting fluffed by, your bridesmaid or whatever, that it is never too late. Because I can tell you, I never wanted out of anything so badly in my life. But there were pressures that I had to get married. Not like, pressures from myself or whatever, but my dad was like an old school depression baby, and he never really thought I needed to go to college. He said I needed to go to college to get an MRS degree. So then when I graduated, I didn't get that degree. I graduated summa cum laude, but I did not get my MRS degree. And he basically was like, it's time for you to find a husband. Well, So nonetheless, so I made that decision. It wasn't a good one, but gosh darn it, I gave it a good try, and it didn't work out. And that's really, all I can say about that. But I went out to dinner with an old friend, and although it was completely platonic, you heard my story, my stopping inertia story. Poor Chris. He had a lot of weight on his shoulders that evening. In fact, I remember he had to bring me home, and he backed out and he knocked the mirror off the side of his car, and that was kind of scary. And I felt really bad. And so he dropped me off, and I, was kind of nervous and everything. But here's the really positive thing. So my mom was getting better. My aunt and uncle were taking care of her. It was time for me to go back to Vermont. And when I got there, it wasn't pleasant. But you really learn that you can actually count on other people. You are never in these things alone. And thank you to Judy and Shirley, because Judy and Shirley got me through this really rough time. Judy let me stay with her, and then Shirley let me stay with her, and Shirley was like the sweetest lady. She actually, I think she used to repair airplanes when the men were away at war, and she really just made me feel so not like a horrible person. And so I got through this time. I got through many things, and secured the job with Bernina, started working for Bernina, made it through the summer, la la la. Did I speak to Chris? Well, I had tried to reach out to him, but I didn't know really what to say. I was a little bit embarrassed. I poured my heart out about this book, and then the phone is ringing, and then, oh my God, look what happened here. And so, but he started pinging me on like holidays and birthdays, and that was great. And then I ended up, my divorce got final and everything, and then eventually, as I was working for Bernina, I would travel from Maine to south of Washington D.C. and that territory was long. It was really long and skinny because I didn't have all of Pennsylvania. I just had the metropolitan area of Pennsylvania. So I travel from Vermont, and I would head down eventually down 95, and then I'd stop in DC, and then I'd turn around and come up another way so I could get like dealers going this way and going that way. And but nonetheless, so as I grew into that job, eventually it came to be that I would meet with Chris, and we would have dinner, and everything was very sweet and very, very nice. And then, I honestly think it was on St. Patrick's Day that we, kind of said, maybe this could be more than a little, friendly visit or whatever. And I got like the signals that, oh, I think he likes me, and and that's kind of like a little bit embarrassing to talk about, but so we kind of made that connection, and so woo, I got a guy, and da 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 da, and it's my dream guy, and I'm so excited, and this is awesome, and it's Chris, it's Chris, it's great. And then I was working a little bit, traveling a lot, but we made a point to see each other, and then it seemed like it was a very intense time between St. Patrick's Day and Easter. And I'm not even sure if it was like a late Easter, sometimes Easter's in the end of April, I don't know, whatever, okay? But it seems like forever, but yet not very long at all. So I am a typical girl that hasn't known how to interact because I got married at 22. I was married for almost 13 years. I don't know how to behave because I am a long distance relationship, and I am also a very long-term relationship person. So I am not feeling the vibes from Chris at this time that I am that we're boyfriend, girlfriend. I didn't know what was going on. So I would look and check his candles when I would visit to see if he burned any candles for anyone else. I envisioned when I left, he'd open the door and 10 other girls would walk in because I'm insecure and I am not mature. We already know my pickup line with the boobs and whatever from the second video, but I didn't know how to handle this. And then I had another friend, Jen. Jen was get your bootstraps pulled up and just tell the guy what you think, send him a note. So I was back home. No, I wasn't back home. So Easter happens, and I invited Chris to Easter with my mom and my friend Mary, who are in Arlington, and it wasn't like I'm asking him to fly on a plane and come to Vermont for Easter or anything. I was just like, hey, and he's sends me a note, nah, I'm good. I think I'm gonna chill here. I think I'm gonna chill here. It's not what I wanted to hear. So, okay, fine. Went to the zoo. It's really interesting to go to the zoo on a sunshiny day, but think it's raining because you're crying all the time. So I went to the zoo. And then went back to Vermont. And then that is when Jen was like, you need to just tell him what you think. Just send him a note. Send him a note. And so I didn't. So I just kind of moped and whatever. So somewhere in May 2nd, I remember the date, I decided that I was gonna see what this thing was. So I got on Facebook. I am now on Facebook. I have graduated from Twitter to Facebook, and Chris and I are Facebook friends. Thank you, I know. And we, in the chat, this is something that bugs me now that I've grown up and become an adult, is when that little green dot is on Facebook in the chat, and you know that somebody is online and that they're on Facebook, and oh my God, you are on Facebook. I am trying to message you and you are not answering. I know you're on the computer. I know it. So I had crafted a very lovely written email, and I sent it to him. Well, it's been 5 seconds and you haven't answered. I would like to hear some more, please. I would like you to dingle me back. I want to hear da, 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 da. Okay, no response to the email. So now I'm on the computer. I'm on the Facebook. The green dot is still on. He's on. Talk to me. Poke. Hey. Hello. I'm here. La 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 la. And then I think I wrote, no, I tried to call. No response, no answer. Didn't answer me. I don't know. I don't really know exactly what happened, other than I did not get an email back or a Facebook message or anything. So I closed the computer and went to bed. And then I woke up the next morning and I checked my email. And he responded. I don't think it's exactly what I wanted to hear. All right, so I have a lot of things that I need to do. I'm drinking some coffee. I got to go produce a video. I hope you like it. It's on flowing edges, and that's the one I'm going to work on now. And yeah, we'll meet again. And the next time we meet, I'm going to have some of that fabric cut out, I promise you, with the wedding dress. So if you like this video and you want to see more and you want to follow along with my wedding dress story, and you're not too offended by anything that I've talked about here, then why don't you head on over to our BERNINA of Naperville YouTube channel. It's easy. It's youtube.com/BERNINA of Naperville, and there you can like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much for listening and being a part of this wedding dress journey. All right, I'll see you later.